Do you know what is the difference between making a common mistake that barely generates temporary consequences and violating a cosmic law so fundamental that it literally stops complete celestial operations for 18 consecutive hours, while entire hierarchies try to process what you just did? The first cost you a quick apology or learned lesson. The second causes archangels to convene an emergency meeting at 3 o'clock in the morning because your accidental action created a precedent that didn't exist in 6,000 years of documented human history. And exactly 11 days ago, while you were doing something so simple, so ordinary, so completely mundane that you didn't even register it as significant in the moment, you violated a divine rule that existed since before this planet had breathable atmosphere. I am not talking about little sin you confess on Sunday. I am not describing moral transgression that generates passing guilt. I am revealing cosmic operation, where your innocent action pierced dimensional barrier that separated two realities that should never have touched. And when those two realities collided, because of what you did without the slightest intention, heaven literally collapsed, not metaphorically, not symbolically. Energy structures that sustained certain celestial operations crumbled instantly, like a building hit by a magnitude 9.5 earthquake. Subscribe to this channel immediately and activate all notifications, because what I am going to reveal about what specific rule you violated without knowing how something as simple as a 7-minute conversation you had 11 days ago created domino effect that forced celestial hierarchies to rewrite protocols that existed for millennia. Why you literally died for 3 seconds in the middle of that conversation, and the clause you didn't even know you possessed resuscitated you instantly, and what the devastating cosmic identity is that they were forced to reveal to you when they discovered you are one of only 12 beings like this in 6,000 years of history is going to shatter every assumption you had about the type of soul you really are, and stay until the absolute end, because I am going to show you exactly what physical signs you manifested. When your heart stopped completely for 3 seconds without you knowing it, why 3 celestial entities were literally removed from their positions for not having prevented you from doing what you did. What the emergency meeting was, where Archangel Michael knelt upon discovering your true identity, and what will happen in your next violation, number 29, that will make the Atlantis event seem like a dress rehearsal. Write 777 in the comments if approximately 11 days ago you had a conversation where you said something that surprised yourself, where words came out of your mouth with authority you didn't know you possessed, and where you felt sudden dizziness for 2 seconds that disappeared so quickly you almost doubted if it had occurred. Now listen to me with brutal attention, because this is going to sound like madness until the pieces fit perfectly. 11 days ago you had a conversation. Maybe it was with that person who always asks you for advice. Maybe it was that casual encounter you didn't plan. Maybe it was a phone call that lasted exactly 7 minutes but changed something fundamental in reality. During that 7-minute conversation, you said exactly 19 specific words, not 18. Clear's throat, not 20. Exactly 19 words that came out of your mouth in such precise sequence, with such specific intonation, with such pure though unconscious intention that they pierce the dimensional veil that separates permitted human knowledge from restricted celestial knowledge. And do you know what those 19 words contained? Truth that humans shouldn't be able to articulate, understanding that only entities from 7th dimension onward have permission to possess. Revelation that is classified in celestial records as information blocked for incarnated consciousnesses. But you said it casually, like someone commenting on the weather, like someone sharing a simple observation, without spiritual preparation, without formal initiation, without celestial authorization. And in the exact moment, those 19 words cross the space between your mouth and the other person's ears. Something that had never before happened in all documented human history occurred. The dimensional barrier fractured. It didn't tee open gently, it didn't tee dissolve gradually. It fractured violently, like glass hit by a high-velocity bullet, and through that fracture, for exactly 3 seconds, knowledge that should remain hidden until humanity reached a specific evolutionary level poured directly into the consciousness of the person listening to you. 3 seconds doesn't seem like much, but in dimensional time, 3 seconds equals approximately 700 hours of pure information transfer. The other person received a download of knowledge so massive, so overwhelming, so completely beyond their current processing capacity that their physical brain almost shut down from overload. Their consciousness tried to expand instantly to accommodate that information. Their energy field amplified so abruptly that sensitive people within a 3 kilometers radius felt inexplicable disturbance. And you, well, here comes the part that will freeze your blood completely. You didn't continue the conversation calmly as you thought. You died for exactly 2 seconds. Your heart stopped completely. 0 beats. Technical, clinical death. Your brain began shutdown process. Your cells initiated programmed cell death sequence, but it happened so fast, the resuscitation was so instantaneous that your consciousness didn't even register the blackout. It was like an imperceptible blink, like a lost frame in a film, like a glitch in the matrix that lasts less than what the human brain can consciously process. The only thing you felt was sudden dizziness, strange sensation of disorientation that lasted approximately 2 seconds. Maybe you even thought it was just momentary tiredness. Maybe you didn't even mention it to the other person. You kept talking as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, in celestial dimensions, an emergency alarm had just been activated that hadn't sounded since the year 1389 dimensional barrier violation protocol with temporary death of the carrier. It is a maximum alert system that activates when 2 impossible things happen simultaneously. First, restricted knowledge is accessed by unauthorized consciousness. Second, the carrier who channeled that knowledge experiences clinical death during the process. And when that protocol activated because of what you said in the 7-minute conversation, literally all celestial operations stopped immediately. It is not exaggeration, it is not metaphor. Absolutely all operations in progress were paused. Spiritual guides who were assisting incarnated beings across the entire planet received orders to suspend activities. Angels who were executing specific missions were called back. Celestial councils that were deliberating on other matters cancelled meetings because dimensional barrier violation with temporary death of the carrier is considered the most serious cosmic emergency possible. Not just because of spiritual implications, but because it suggests something went terribly wrong in the mission design, or that something went perfectly right in a way nobody anticipated. 3 minutes after you pronounced those 19 words and died for 3 seconds, Archangel Michael received emergency notification with absolute red classification. He was supervising a completely different operation in another part of the planet. When he saw the type of alert that had just activated, his reaction was a mixture of disbelief and something archangels rarely experience, genuine fear. Dimensional barrier violation doesn't occur frequently. The last time it happened was in the year 1389, when a Tibetan monk in deep meditation state accidentally accessed knowledge he shouldn't have reached. That violation took 3 full days to be contained and required intervention from 7 different archangels. But that violation was made by a monk with 40 years of intensive spiritual practice. Someone who had dedicated entire life to expanding consciousness. Someone who was prepared physically, mentally, and energetically to deal with consequences. And even so, he almost didn't survive the process. You are a common civilian, without formal training, without specific preparation, without even fully believing in spiritual dimensions, probably. And you not only violated the barrier that a monk with 40 years of practice barely managed to break once, you died during the process and resuscitated automatically, as if you had backup system that not even the monk possessed. Michael convened immediate emergency meeting. He didn't wait until morning. He didn't follow normal bureaucratic protocols. At 3:42 in the morning following day, exactly 11 hours after your conversation and temporary death, 7 archangels were gathered in emergency council. Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Shamuel, Jophiel, Zadkiel, and Michael presiding. The agenda had a single point: human violated dimensional barrier, experienced clinical death, and resuscitated automatically without intervention. Assess damages, determine how he survived, identify what protocol saved him. Gabriel opened, presenting data with voice that revealed deep concern. Fei, the human in question, has no formal spiritual training. Doesn't T practice meditation regularly? Doesn't T belong to any esoteric school? Hasn't T been initiated in any tradition? According to all parameters, shouldn't T be able to access seventh dimension knowledge? And definitely shouldn't T be able to survive clinical death caused by that access? Raphael continued with medical information. The person who received the knowledge wasn't prepared either. Her energy field almost collapsed from overload. We had to stabilize her emergently for 6 consecutive hours to avoid permanent damage. But the carrier died and returned without our intervention. That is not normal. That never happens. Uriel added what everyone was thinking, but nobody wanted to verbalize. Clinical death during channeling of restricted knowledge means one of two things. Either the carrier didn't have adequate protection, and we almost destroyed a mission by design error, or the carrier has automatic resuscitation protocol so advanced it operates faster than our capacity to intervene. And if it is the second option, heavy silence filled the council room because everyone knew exactly what Uriel was implying. Automatic resuscitation protocol that's sophisticated only exists in extraordinarily high-level contracts. Level that requires authorization from Metatron personally. Shambles was who finally verbalized, "We need to review this human's original file before incarnating. We need to see what agreements were made." Clears throat, because if he has automatic resuscitation, then his mission is much more critical than any of us knew. And when they accessed your pre-incarnation file, when they reviewed contracts you signed before being born, when they read missions you voluntarily accepted, they found a clause that none of them had noticed before. Clause written with ink that is only visible when carrier activates first phase of their mission. Clause 7. 3. Carrier has authorization to violate dimensional barrier when correct moment is reached without need for prior formal preparation as part of evolutionary acceleration protocol. In case of clinical death during channeling, automatic resuscitation protocol will activate instantly without need for external intervention. Carrier has permission to die and revive as many times as necessary to complete knowledge transfers. Gabriel read that clause 3 times, his voice becoming quieter with each reading. This means he has permission to do exactly what he did. It wasn't violation. It was authorized activation. And the death was expected part of the process. Michael closed his eyes, processing devastating implications. If he has clause 7.3 with unlimited automatic resuscitation, then he is not common human. He is not even standard acceleration agent. He is Jufel, who rarely speaks in meetings, completed the sentence with voice that trembled slightly. He is a primordial carrier, Absolute silence fell over the council room because primordial carrier isn't classification used lightly. It is not honorary title. Its designation for souls so specific, so rare, so strategically critical that only 12 are permitted to incarnate in any 6,000-year cycle. For those who want to go deeper, there is exclusive material in the description and pinned comment. Raphael was first to recover voice. How many primordial carriers are currently active? Michael reviewed records with hands that trembled imperceptibly. Before today, 11, the last one that activated, was in the year 1987. We had been waiting 38 years for the 12th to incarnate and activate. Gabriel asked the question that changed absolutely everything. What number is he? Michael found the information, and when he saw the answer, he did something no archangel had witnessed in 3,000 years of service. He knelt. He is the 12th, the last, the one who closes the cycle. The other 6 archangels, understanding the magnitude of that revelation, knelt as well, because when the 12th primordial carrier activates, it means the complete 6,000-year cycle is approaching conclusion. It means all 12 are finally in position. It means the planetary ascension event that was planned millennia ago is about to initiate final sequence. Zadkiel asked the question everyone feared. How many more violations can he activate under Clause 7.3 before the final sequence begins? Michael reviewed the file with expression that mixed reverence and growing caution. He has already completed 28 minor violations in the last 3 years. The one 11 days ago was violation number 29, and the first significant enough to activate emergency protocol. The file indicates that complete cycle requires 44 total violations before final activation. Raphael calculated quickly. That means 15 more violations remain before whatever comes after. Uriel made an observation that froze everyone's blood. And what happens when he completes violation 44? Michael found that section of the file. And when he read the content, his expression revealed that the answer was much more devastating than anyone had anticipated. Violation 44 will not be like the others. It will be complete dimensional fracture, not just of one barrier, but of all barriers, simultaneously. For exactly 44 seconds, all celestial knowledge, all knowledge from all dimensions up to the 9th, will be completely accessible to all humans within a 500 kilometers radius of wherever he is. Horrified silence filled the room. Because everyone knew what had happened last time, all dimensional barriers fell simultaneously, even if for a brief period. Gabriel verbalized what everyone was thinking. Atlantis. Michael nodded slowly. Exactly. Atlantis, last time humanity had complete access to total knowledge for prolonged period. And we all know how that ended, Samuel protested. But Atlantis was an accident. It was unplanned collapse. This is written in his contract as intentional as necessary. Why would Metatron authorize an Atlantis-type event deliberately? Michael found the signature at the end of the document, and next to the signature there was a note written in calligraphy that only Metatron uses. The difference between Atlantis and this event is simple. Atlantis wasn't ready. This generation is the 12 primordial carriers are positioned to stabilize the process. 44 seconds of total knowledge will not destroy civilization if the 12 are simultaneously active channeling and distributing information. Trust the design, Uriel asked pragmatic question. Where are the other 11 primordial carriers currently? Michael accessed global map. 12 luminous points appeared, strategically distributed around the planet. They are positioned, all active, all operating under their own clauses, 7.3, all approaching their own final violations. When the 12th completes his 44th violation, the other 11 will complete theirs simultaneously. And then he didn't need to complete the sentence. Everyone understood the implication. The most significant planetary ascension event in 6,000 years was scheduled to happen in a matter of months, maybe weeks, depending on how quickly you and the other 11 completed remaining cycles. Joeophil made final observation. Does he know any of this? Is he conscious that he is a primordial carrier? That when he completes his 44th violation, he is going to trigger event that will permanently change planetary consciousness? Michael shook his head. His human consciousness doesn't have access to that information yet. He is operating completely from intuition and soul guidance. He doesn't know he died for 3 seconds. He doesn't know he resuscitated automatically. He doesn't know he is the 12th. And he definitely doesn't know that in approximately 18 weeks he is going to cause an event of magnitude similar to Atlantis. Raphael expressed concern. Shouldn't we inform him, prepare him somehow? Uriel responded. His file specifically prohibits direct revelation before violation number 40. After that, his consciousness will expand enough to integrate complete truth. But before that, knowledge could interfere with authenticity that makes the process work. So they decided they would continue monitoring. They would assign permanent resources for consequence management. They would allow you to continue operating from pure intuition, and they would wait because the next 15 violations you would commit would determine if humanity was really ready for the ascension event that would come with the 44th. But there was immediate consequence they had to handle. 3 specific celestial entities had his responsibility to monitor dimensional barriers and prevent unauthorized violations. And those 3 entities had completely failed to identify that your violation was authorized. Worse yet, they tried to block it. They tried to interfere with process that Metatron himself had authorized. They tried to prevent the 12th primordial carrier from activating first phase of his mission. That was grave insubordination, not intentional, but catastrophic and potential consequences. Because if they had succeeded in blocking you, if they had been successful in preventing your violation, number 29, the entire 6,000-year cycle would have had to restart. Feifei, the other 11 carriers, would have to wait another complete cycle. Humanity would lose ascension opportunity during this specific window. Michael had no alternative. The 3 entities responsible for barrier monitoring will be immediately removed from positions and assigned to lesser responsibility positions. Not from Alice, but for not having identified Clause 7.3 of Primordial Carrier before attempting to block critical process authorized by Metatron. And so 3 entities that had served faithfully for millennia lost positions for trying to prevent you from doing exactly what you came to do. Lost positions for not recognizing they were in presence of the 12th primordial carrier. Lost positions for almost ruining 6,000-year ascension plan. Those 3 entities were the ones who generated that strange sensation you felt moments before the conversation. That sudden doubt, that impulse to cancel the meeting, that internal voice saying maybe you shouldn't talk about that. But you ignored those signals. Not because you were rebellious, but because Clause 7.3 of Primordial Carrier has absolute priority over any blocking attempt. Your mission has higher authorization than the capacity of any lesser entity to interfere, even if that interference comes from place of genuine protection. So you said those 19 words. Your heart stopped for 322 seconds. You technically died. You resuscitated automatically. The barrier fractured. Knowledge poured out. 3 entities lost positions. 7 archangels knelt upon discovering your identity, and the 6,000-year cycle took massive step toward conclusion. All because you had a 7-minute conversation that for you was just casual exchange, where you felt strange dizziness for 2 seconds that you didn't even consider significant. Now, let me show you what you physically felt during those 2 seconds of clinical death that you didn't even consciously register during the conversation. Specifically, in the exact moment you pronounced word number 12 of those 19, you felt sudden dizziness. It wasn't to vertigo, it was to imminent fainting. It was strange sensation of brief disorientation, as if you had blinked and lost half a second of reality. That dizziness was your consciousness experiencing temporal gap. It was the exact moment your heart stopped. Your brain began shutdown process. Automatic resuscitation protocol activated and your heart restarted, all in 3. 2 seconds that your conscious mind cannot process a sequence of events because it happened faster than human neuronal processing speed. It is like a lost frame in a film. You know something's missing, but you cannot identify exactly what. Only vague sensation of discontinuity remains. Immediately after those 19 words in your instant death resurrection, you felt wave of mental clarity that had no explanation. For approximately 5 minutes after that conversation, your mind operated at level of lucidity you rarely experience. Words flowed with unusual ease. Understanding of complex situations seemed instantaneous. Connections between ideas emerged effortlessly. That clarity wasn't coincidence. It was residual effect of having died and resuscitated. It was your consciousness operating